concern tonight that contamination from an old factory in Goshen might have spread. It's new information about a story that we brought you at 5:30. Now, the EPA is now looking into the possibility of asbestos at the site of the old Johnston Controls plant. WSBT-22's Patrick Roth is here now. And Patrick, a class action lawsuit has been filed over this.
Yeah, Rick, as you can see behind me, there's still a lot of debris from this plant that's still standing. The concern is that contaminants might have been left behind and seeped into the soil, maybe even the water in the air. For decades, this was a factory at the heart of Goshen. More than 1,000 people worked here. And now, this is all that's left. Piles of debris. And what's concerning is what lurks in those piles.
We recently just were contacted by IDEM and found out that there's some potential asbestos on the site where it hasn't been cleaned up yet, the debris piles.
Contamination has been known for 15 or 20 years, and it's still not been remediated.
John Ulmer represents a number of people who lived around the old plant in a class action lawsuit. He says several of his clients have suffered from a number of health problems, including cancer.
There's no question that there has been asbestos or asbestos in the buildings. There's a report from IDEM, I believe in 2013, acknowledging that there was asbestos on the property.
The big question is what happened to that asbestos after the buildings were torn down.
The buildings were demolished, and there's been no record that asbestos that had been in the buildings was removed prior to the demolition.
For the city, there isn't much they can do on their own. But the hope is that the EPA will be able to fix the mess that's left behind.
So EPA and IDEM have been fantastic. They responded immediately through phone calls and then also email, let us know that this is something they're going to move on quickly.
Now, a big part of the problem is Johnson Controls sold that site 10 years ago, and the company they sold it to went out of business. So there's not a lot that the city can do. They do expect EPA inspectors in next week, and Rick, if this is a contaminated site, it could become a Superfund site. The hope is then it would be cleaned up by the early summer.
Patrick, thank you. New at 11, interviews to fill.